Hello everybody! In this video of the How to Make a Character in 13th Age 2E playlist, we're going to cover how to anchor your character to the campaign setting by making them unique. So here we go with Step 4. Define your one unique thing. Your one unique thing, often shortened to just your unique, is a short sentence or two that defines what makes your character different from everybody else. If your kin power is what makes you stand out among your kind, your unique is what makes you stand out from the whole empire. It is notably not a power, and shouldn't have a practical effect in-game. A unique is a story hook that weaves your character into the fabric of the campaign. Choosing your class and kin gave us a couple of general archetypes to use as a foundation of who we are and how we're seen, but our unique is a great way to start giving our character some personality. I recommend doing this early on because a lot of what comes after is layering on choices that make your character more specialized within your class. I find that knowing what makes my character unique makes it easier to imagine what kind of specializations they might have pursued. Basically, I like making thematic character choices. However, I know plenty of folks who like making crunch choices, making the most powerful or at least most situationally OP version of the class that they can and then backfilling story. If that's you, then feel free to drop this down to like step 10 or 11 and circle back later. It's also completely fine and not uncommon to delay making a unique until you've played a session or two to get a grasp on the campaign's tone. It's so normal that they put a reminder to let yourself and your friends feel the process out in the Hero's Handbook. Now, as I said before, your unique is a short sentence or two that ties your character into the narrative of the world by defining how they stand out within it. Using first-person POV is the norm here to help you get into your character's headspace. As someone who likes creative writing, making up uniques is honestly a lot of fun for me. But I have friends who, while good at role-playing, hate writing. They find that sitting down to write out the ideas that underlie their roleplay decisions feels akin to wearing clothes made of sandpaper while they do a 5-kilometer jog. So, to help them and anyone else who is intimidated by this stealth creative writing assignment in their role-playing game, I've put in the work and figured out that a good unique is going to answer at least one of the following 6 questions. I'm going to give you each of these questions with an example answer. From there, you can mix and match the question phrasing as you like, or even just use one of the examples if you're feeling really stuck. Question 1. Why did your character get into adventuring in general? Example unique.
I need to get the amulet with my master's lifeblood in it to their corpse so that they can wake up and turn me back into my beautiful Corvid form. And I will, just as soon as I remember which nest I hid the amulet in.
Question 2. Why would your character be invested in this adventure, campaign theme, specifically? Using my example Cult Hunt campaign to make an example unique, I was once almost sacrificed by a sun cult, but then they disbanded shortly before I was to be killed because their leader ran off with all the gold that was going to make up the sacrificial altar. Question 3. Why is your character's personality like that? Example unique.
I was raised by a wolf pack in the Bloodwood.
Question 4. How is your character connected personally to an icon? Example unique.
I was once the beekeeper in charge of maintaining the hives of the Elf Queen's favorite swarm of bees, but I just kept getting worse and worse hay fever every spring, so ultimately had to change career paths.
Question 5. Why don't you fit in with your kin group? Example unique. I'm the only draconic I know that doesn't have any horns or facial spines, and I get a lot of weird looks about it, even outside of the draconic settlements. Question 6. What is a special role you have or will inherit within the Dragon Empire? Example unique. I come from a long line of volcano wranglers who live deep inside the Frost Range. One day it will be my job to keep the volcano active enough that the city can keep using it for indoor heating, but not so active that it explodes all over everyone or attracts orcs. Before I tell you Topaz's unique, I want to make sure I have made something clear with my constant use of the word unique. Because it's not just because that's a shorthand for the game mechanic. what you write here is true of you and you alone. Which means if you write something as simple as, I am a blacksmith, then you have to work with your GM to figure out why the heck you are the only blacksmith in the entire Dragon Empire, and how the hell society let that happen without crumbling under the weight of its own ever-growing infrastructural needs and many wars. If you want to use something super simple to avoid getting bogged down here, that is fine. Just make sure you add enough specificity to avoid accidentally creating a massive world-building black hole. Instead of, I am a blacksmith, have something like, I am the only blacksmith licensed to work with dragon bones. Or, I am the first blacksmith to have been acknowledged by the forge gods in this age. Don't just be a blacksmith. Be a blacksmith with an accolade or a reputation, okay? Cool. With that out of the way, the thing that makes Topaz unique is,
I was raised in an underground dungeon by a mimic, after it ate my biological parents, and my father's earring of empathy along with them.
And that is where we're going to end this installment of the playlist. For people who aren't as self-confident in the more creative side of TTRPGs, uniques might seem like more trouble than they're worth. But in the spirit of playing the system as it is, instead of what it's not, I highly recommend you don't just ignore the mechanic. You'd be amazed at how much faster you can become invested in a game when you've made your character into a special little guy who shines best in this world specifically. Thanks for watching. If the added direction helped you come up with a unique of your own, or if you want some help workshopping one for your character, let me know in the comments. Next video, we're going to tackle stats and gear. I'll see you then. In the meantime, keep practicing hope and don't be afraid to get punk about it.